UCS, Cisco's term for Unified Computing System. Let's break that down into chewable pieces that we all understand. UCS is a melding, if you will, of voice, data, and video networks that prior to Cisco were three very disparate networks that required separate management, separate equipment, and separate maintenance. Let me show you how Cisco has taken this and on one very robust platform provided all of our clients the ability to manage three separate functionalities on one very robust network. So let's start with the data network, and let's start with a switch, which is sort of the beginning of every network, and then a router, and that router is connected to the wide area network and the internet. Off this switch is a computer. The voice network that Ma Bell invented 103 years ago, it has a PBX that connects to telephones, and that PBX connects the Public Switched Telephone Network, or PSTN. Inside that PBX are the brains, or the CPU, on the telephone side, they have a telephone card, or line cards as they're called. And on the public switched network side, they have trunk cards. Down here is the third network. That's a television or a video network that runs on its separate network. So let's talk about this for a second. Cisco looked at it and said, we need to make life easier for the folks that buy our equipment. Right now they're trying to juggle three separate networks. They have three separate staffs, three separate sets of equipment, three separate maintenance issues. So let's combine all of that. Let's give them more bang for their buck. And they figured out that, hey, why not have that telephone hang off the switch? We can figure out how to put it, all it requires is another card in the switch, so we don't need the line card or the telephone hanging off of it. We also figured out that, well, if we can connect to the wide area network from the router, can we connect from the router to the PSTN? Again, it just takes a little card. And we don't need the trunk card anymore. So we still have the CPU, which is the brains, what makes it ring, the voicemail, all of that intelligence. So where are we going to put that? Well, Cisco figured out there are things called servers for just that functionality. We can put a card in the server that provides voice intelligence. And that server, of course, connects to your storage area network. So we don't need that CPU. We don't need that separate telephone network. having video run over that switch and that network is just as easy as putting a card in there for that. Finally, let's talk about the other things that our clients face in terms of challenges and running it all over one robust network. We have wireless. Everybody's going mobile. You've got tablets, you've got smartphones, and our clients are trying to figure out how do we give them access yet secure that access. We have tablets out here and smartphones that want access to this nice network. We'll give them that access via something called access points that Cisco has. But once they got access, we want to make sure that it's secure. And how do we do that? With a router, with a firewall, right in between the switch and the router. And with that, we're able to secure all the wireless and mobile devices, yet giving them access to all the things on that network. And with things like quality of service and VLANs, we're able to segment this traffic so that voice, right here, gets first priority and data and video gets second. In addition to that, Cisco found a way with their UCS, instead of running a separate wire for every computer and a separate wire for every telephone, we can take the computer and plug it right in to this new telephone, which plugs into the switch. What's that do for a client of ours? Several things. It reduces maintenance costs. It reduces heating and cooling costs. It reduces footprint in the data center. These servers and the virtualization of those compresses that footprint even more, from 50 servers down to maybe 8. Additionally, they have less wires in that data center because we have one coming back from each telephone, which also connects to each computer. And because we've condensed all the servers down, we have less wires and less maintenance, less heat. This UCS, bottom line, allows our clients to get ahead of the curve, and instead of spending all their time maintaining and doing troubleshooting, they're actually able to use one network to start providing real business value via IT back to the organization.